families, creating a lifetime of memories. Sadly, some families are denied these important moments due to the sad practice of alienation. These are families divided.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Families Divided TV. The behaviors exhibited by alienated children toward rejected, targeted parents appear rude, ungrateful, malicious, insensitive, detached, and perhaps even narcissistic. It's difficult not only for parents to understand what's causing the hurtful, extreme change in behavior, but to know how to handle it. Hoping to reach the children and appeal to their empathetic side, targeted parents try every approach they can think of. But these approaches are rarely effective. At times, it may seem as if the children they loved and raised are forever gone. But are they? Is there a recognizable, defining line that may encourage hopefulness? Though the answer to that question is not crystal clear, there are behaviors that signal hope for the future and behaviors that put that hope into question. In tonight's presentation, Randi Fine will bring some clarity to this painful and notoriously obscure issue. This, I really believe, will be a good episode for you, and I really hope that you'll take it as a great sign and hope and listen intently. We're going to be right back with Randi Fine right after these important messages. Hello, everyone. I'm Elaine Cobb. I'm founder and president of Family Access Fighting for Children's Rights. I'm also founder, host, and executive producer of Families Divided TV. I want to invite you to our upcoming fall conference, which is virtual and international. It will be the very last one that we ever have, and it's going to be an incredible 2-day event, and I hope you'll join us. Normally we do the topics, it's just one topic specifically. But this time, I said, you know what, we need to branch it out a little bit. And so I asked you to send in what you thought were very important topics to you. And so that's what we're going to be using and speaking on. We have two keynote speakers. Our first one is Dr. Edward Crook. And he, as a favor to us, we had asked him if he could do a study on grandparents who have never met their grandchildren. And there's never been a study on this. It's always in court or in the legislature if you've had some kind of a relationship with your grandchild. Well, hello, there's many of us out there who have never seen their grandchild, including myself and my husband Chester, who we've never seen our granddaughter Dare, who's now 13. So this is an incredible, extensive study that he's taken over a year to do, and we've recorded it now. And this presentation, I will tell you, is off the chart. It is incredible. It's awesome. I mean, I could just keep going on and on. He's going to give us much information, and he's also going to get this peer reviewed, get it ready to be got out there with lots of different places, and it's going to help. We'll be able to use this in court. We'll be able to use this in the legislature, and it is huge, very, very important. So I hope even those grandparents who have met their grandchildren will he's also going to talk to you as well. So you're not going to be left out. So if you are a grandparent, you do not, I repeat, do not want to miss this conference, because this is really, really great. So please, be there. His presentation is entitled "The Eraser of Grandparents from Children's Lives." We're going to also have Bill Eddy as our other co-host and our keynote speaker. And he's going to be speaking to us on court trends, the trouble with letting the children decide. Some states and court systems are considering letting children as young as 14 years old have the right to make decisions about whether to have a relationship with one of their parents. He's going to be speaking to us about this. And, Bill Eddy's with High Conflict Institute. He's written numerous books. He's got a new one out now, as you know. And you're not going to want to miss this one. This is a really good one. It's important that we know about all that. We're also going to have Dr. Joshua Coleman, who works with alienated and estranged parents of adult children. And he's very well known out there all over the world. And he's going to be speaking to us about reaching out to your alienated or estranged child, the do's and don'ts that you need to be doing. I get emails all the time from you guys wanting to know, what should I do? Even on our Families Divided comments, I get all that. He's going to let us know right here. So you want to be able to be there for that too. Dr. Sue Kornbluth will be presenting as well in this conference, and she's going to be speaking to us on managing personality disordered co-parents who alienate their children. Now, we haven't done a whole lot on co-parenting. We may have 3, I think, episodes on Families Divided. So this will be huge for those of you that have to co-parent and you're dealing with people who have major personality disorders. So Dr. Kornbluth is going to share much with this on that. And Dr. Mary Alvarez is going to be speaking to us on a very interesting topic. It's going to be called Parental Alienation, the Toxic Stress in Your Child's Brain. And nothing is more important than our child and what they're going through this. They are what matters through all of this in the world of alienation. As we know, alienation is child abuse. And she's going to share some very interesting things. She's done a great study on this, so you're not going to want to miss that. Chris Turner is going to be speaking to us on trusting and understanding agents of court guardian ad litem, amicus therapists, psychologists, parenting facilitators, and court-appointed professionals. She's going to give us some information because it can get really overwhelming to us as we have to deal with these people. She's going to give us some great advice on that as well. And then Dr. Kelly Baker is going to be speaking to us on the therapeutic interventions for parent-child contact problems with teens. We've never, and I'm sad to say that, we've never done anything with teens. So this one's going to be huge. And Dr. Baker's really doing an intense study on it, and it is going to be good, but it's really going to help you as an alienated or targeted parent and how to deal with this with your teenager. We also have Melanie Gill with us, and she's going to be speaking on Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. We deal with a lot of this in court with lots of things that are said that are not true. And, Melanie's really been through the mill over there, so to speak, in the UK. And she's going to be helping us in sorting out this important info. Also, Dr. Kathleen Ray from Canada will be speaking to us on understanding the realities of a reunification program, dispelling common misconceptions. There's a lot of lies and fake news out there on this, and she's going to share and help us to understand what is factual and what is false. And so you don't want to miss this one either. Then Attorney Chris Turner will be with us. He's going to be sharing secrets to litigating parental alienation allegations. Chris is one of the best attorneys, and I've dealt with many over the 13 years, and he truly is like at the top for me. He really cares about you guys, and first and foremost, he cares about you. And he's, a lot of attorneys, I've got to say, sadly, are out for the bucks, but Chris isn't one of them. And he's going to be sharing a lot with us on this, so please don't miss out on it. Also, Randi Fine is going to be speaking to us about confronting the mirror. Do narcissists face their own reflections? That is a very interesting question, and Randi will be sharing with us on that. Also, we have with us Dean Tom. He has a really great presentation on false allegations of abuse, navigating the three-ring circus. And he's really, really knowledgeable on all of this and dealing with CPS and all of them. So he'll share much info for you and how to deal with all of that. And then, to me, this is really the most important part of the conference, I think. Caden's Law has pretty much destroyed or tried to destroy our families. Well, we're going to have with us Dr. Lynn Steinberg, Yakov Achenbaum, and Robert Gaza with us. And those three are going to be doing a panel discussion. And they all three have all different perspectives on all about Caden's Law and what to do and how we can go around it and how we can defeat it and help get our families back together in ways that we can. Many of you in states really need to be paying attention to this. I'm going to tell you that as a parent and as a grandparent, if we don't stand up and fight for our children and our grandchildren, we can just about wrap it up and forget about it. So you can't sit back and say, oh, I wish they'd come help us over here and all that. Get up and get it done. Help everybody. You don't have to be, a college degree or any of that. You just gotta have the heart and the zeal that you want to get up and fight for your own kid and your own grandkid. So be a part, make it happen, and come and learn from this. You can submit your questions, and we're going to have questions for all different presentations and especially for this. So we want you to do that. So don't miss out on that, please. That's going to be really important. I also want to emphasize that this will only be, again, through only the Zoom, Family Access Zoom. That will be the only way you can be a part of this 2-day event. But I also want you to know, and this is very important, if you cannot make the 2-day event, that's fine. We'd love for you to be there in person, but we understand everybody's lives are busy. So take the time and register, and you have between that following Monday, the 7th of October, till the end of December to view it. We'll have that for you available. And here's the secret. If you do register and you do come to the event, you can watch it as many times as you want. So that's going to be a special that I'm giving my gift to you that way, because this will be our absolute last conference that we ever have. So you will have plenty of time to view it as many times as you want. And I hope you will take advantage of it and do just that, because we feel like these topics are so very important and we want you to be a part of it. We're also on Sunday night, we're going to be having, after the conference, we're going to have from 7 to 9, a time where you can meet together and share your testimonies. If you want to share your stories and stuff, that's fine. And we're also going to be making a support group out of that as well. So come for that. And then on Saturday night from 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. Sunday morning, we're going to be having what we call the one-on-one chat room, which I lovingly call the Chatty Cathy group. These people have a great time at these. We've done these every international virtual conference. They get together, and I do not understand how in the world they can chat half the night online and get back in the morning for the conference, but they're doing it. But it's a great time to really open your heart, share your experiences, give each other ideas on what's important to you. We do everything we can to make this the best it can be for you and being supportive to you. I really hope that you will come and you will join us for this very important, incredible event. And also, I will be announcing to you something very special at the end of our conference. So please come, please register. You've still got time, and look forward to seeing you there. Take care. God bless.
Divorce and co-parenting are a major life interruption for families, especially the kids, but also for parents and grandparents. And it's even worse in blame-filled, high-conflict cases. When parents engage in alienation by turning the kids against the other parent or grandparents, kids suffer. They're denied the opportunity to build the 4 big skills necessary for future resilience. New Ways for Families online class can help. Parents learn to use our popular BIF and EAR skills to calm the conflict and stop the hostile emails and texts. And we even have a class for kids and parents to learn together. Research shows a 75% improvement in joint parental decision-making after this course is taken, plus overall improvements for kids' well-being. Don't wait to make this affordable investment in your children's future and improve your well-being too. Start learning new ways for your family today at conflictplaybook.com.
Today I'm going to be talking about understanding the development of narcissistic personality disorder in alienated children and how to differentiate between them. And in other words, can childhood parental alienation lead to the development of narcissistic personality disorder? Before I start, I want to say that this topic is very controversial, and some experts believe there is no definitive or clear-cut way to answer this question. So I'm going to do my best to explain it as I interpret it. Dealing with the alienation of children during divorce and separation can be extremely difficult. These kids often feel trapped in a cycle of anxiety, pulled in different directions by each parent. As a result, they constantly struggle with overwhelming emotions and must cope with them every day. Anxiety brings about worry and fear, creates inner unrest, and prompts children to look for ways to ease their distress. When children are caught in the middle of their parents' divorce, the anxiety is often a result of witnessing their parents' negative emotions towards each other. In some cases, one parent may even rely on the child to ease their own anxiety, which burdens the child with the responsibility of managing the parent's well-being. This is known as emotional parentification. Emotional parentification places a heavy weight, inappropriate levels of responsibility on the child, who feels compelled to handle and control the alienating parent's emotions. To not do so causes these children unbearable guilt. Children become the alienated parent's counselor, confidant, and emotional caretaker. The child is hypersensitive to the emotional signals from the narcissistic parent and may be influenced to fear and reject the other parent. As a result, the child may separate their feelings for each parent. They may act happy when with the targeted parent, but in order to please the alienated parent, express a dislike for that parent when they're together. This behavior stems from the child's deep fear of abandonment, compelling them to do whatever it takes to ensure their parents' stability, even if it means adopting that parent's negative view about the other parent. The way a child separates their feelings might mean that they're using a defense mechanism called splitting. This is when they separate their identity into good and bad, hiding the bad parts and putting negative feelings onto the targeted parent. It can make the child think one parent is perfect while the other is awful, causing them to reject one parent in a big way to get approval from the other. Severely alienated children show extremely polarized views of the rejected parent, often having nothing positive to say about them. They may avoid all contact with the parent and threaten to defy court orders for contact. Rather than feeling remorse for their behavior, They show no shame or guilt for mistreating the rejected parent. It is well known that when a child becomes alienated from a parent, they may passionately reject that parent as a defense mechanism. This is to protect themselves from a severe emotional and mental breakdown. While it protects the child in one aspect, it comes with severe anxiety. It prevents the child from having a carefree childhood. Alienated children suffer from anxiety-related disorders that are used as coping mechanisms, such as skin picking, hair pulling, nail biting, cutting, OCD, hoarding, gastrointestinal disorders, eating disorders, and they are at risk of developing autoimmune disorders such as POTS, P-O-T-S, dysautonomia, Crohn's disease and or colitis, and possibly arthritis. They may start drinking or taking drugs, become promiscuous, have problems in school, get into trouble with the law, and sometimes have suicidal ideations. The damage caused by alienation is mental, physical, psychological, and emotional. It isn't just experienced in childhood, it extends into adulthood. So how do you know if a child has been alienated? You might notice as they adopt a superficial version of the alienated parent's identity, similar mannerisms and behaviors. So children who are victims of parental alienation syndrome may exhibit the following symptoms. The child unfairly criticizes the alienated parent. The child does not have proof or examples of the criticism. The child only has negative feelings towards the parent. The child states that they formed the opinion regarding the innocent parent all on their own. The child has unwavering support for the narcissistic parent. The child feels no guilt toward mistreating the alienated parent. The child says things that sound like they came from an adult when talking about memories of the alienated parent. The child may have feelings of hatred towards members of the alienated parent's side of the family. So these are some of the things, some of the symptoms you might see. Children who experience severe parental alienation may exhibit significant behavioral issues and act inappropriately, particularly when in the presence of the rejected parent. This can include extreme displays of hatred, anger, disdain, and hostility, such as being rude, using profanity, hanging up the phone on them, spitting at or physically striking that parent, damaging property, stealing, lying, spying on the rejected parent. They may struggle to differentiate what is true and what is not true about the rejected parent. The child may be repeatedly told that the targeted parent does not love them, never did, and that the parent is a threat to their well-being. Unable to reconcile the two, these are both conflicting realities. An alienating child tends to resort to the extreme defense mechanism known as psychological splitting. Dr. Donald Winnicott, a pediatrician and psychoanalyst, described the rigid and defensive alter ego caused by children's response to a harmful parent's control in his 1986 paper, The Concept of the False Self. He refers to it as the false self. The false self's job is to shield the child from the harm he or she is facing. Initially, the child may still display glimpses of their true carefree self, but they frequently revert to the defensive persona in the presence of the harmful parent. This self-alienation may fade as parents navigate their transition from being together to being apart, or it may persist and intensify, leading to the child making false accusations against anyone challenging their sense of power. It's important to understand how a false self, often seen in children of divorce, focuses on pleasing others to maintain stability and happiness. These children may align with a wounded and angry parent, learning to regulate their emotions to provide support for that parent. Alienated children with false selves can benefit from one parent understanding their experience and providing consistent positive support if they have access to that child. This positive support can help the child who has suffered from induced psychological splitting integrate their sense of self and aid in their recovery. The depth and permanence of psychological ego splitting may be reduced, and its level of permanence may be mitigated. Reunification therapy or unification therapy, the best option, which is only possible after the targeted parent regains full custody, can actually heal the split. Without either of those conditions, there is a risk of developing a cluster B pathology such as antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and/or borderline personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder happens because of trauma in early childhood or absorbing actions from their environment. The risk of narcissism is connected to stressful life events, parenting styles, and how parents interact with the child. Kids are more likely to become narcissistic when their parents lack warmth and show little affection, appreciation, enjoyment towards them. If the parents are constantly in conflict and throw accusations about one another around the child, it becomes confusing and difficult for the child to view both parents positively and maintain relationships with each one. The false self of an alienated child that Dr. Winnicott talks about changes focus and becomes the false self of a narcissist. The belief underlying this transition is that other people are there to meet their needs, in the same way that they were brought up to meet their caregiver needs. From the narcissist perception, it's as if people don't exist for themselves, but rather as means for them to benefit from. The false self of a narcissist serves as a defense mechanism against overwhelming feelings of weakness, inadequacy, and shame. Its intention is to manipulate the other people's behavior and attitudes toward it. It acts like a shield, making the person feel invisible and all-powerful at the same time. This outer layer blocks out the narcissist's more vulnerable emotions, preventing them from feeling powerless or worthless. The narcissist copes with this painful realization by denying reality and creating a new narrative that accommodates any conflicting data, playing a crucial role in their survival and psychological functioning. The false self supersedes the narcissist's true self and renders it almost non-existent. There are three main ways children grow up to become narcissists. These factors do not guarantee a child will become narcissistic, but every narcissist has experienced at least one of them. They are overindulged for their superficial attributes. They are underindulged in their emotions. They experience trauma or abuse. The reasons why some grown-up kids turn out narcissistic while others don't are aren't really clear-cut. Some theories say that genetics could be a factor in developing narcissism, which often starts in childhood. There's also the idea that certain family situations might lead to this personality disorder. Narcissism is influenced by experience and temperament. Even well-intentioned and competent parents can unintentionally raise a child with narcissistic traits. Many believe that being raised by a narcissistic parent in a loveless environment or in a super competitive or shaming setting could bring about narcissistic traits. Neglect, abuse, or even excessive idolization during childhood may also play a part. If a parent is indifferent or expects perfection to give any attention, a child might come to believe that they are not worthy as they are. As they grow up, they could develop an exaggerated sense of self-importance. This is to protect themselves from their deep-seated feelings of never being good enough. The behaviors of narcissistic parents can greatly affect children. Kids might start imitating the behaviors of the narcissistic parent, leading to a pattern of narcissism and projection that can persist into adulthood. They might also form a distorted view of the other parent, which can harm their relationship and cause lasting emotional damage. When a child internalizes the emotions of the narcissistic parent, co-narcissism can develop within the relationship. Emulating the narcissistic parent's behavior fulfills the child's need to survive and matter. Some who show narcissistic traits as adults show signs as children. Others don't. After around age 12, some children may start exhibiting narcissistic traits, but these cannot be diagnosed until they reach the age of 18. This is because children's behavior tends to change as they progress through different developmental stages. Keep in mind that not all individuals who display occasional narcissistic traits necessarily have narcissistic personality disorder. At times, everyone, including children, can be overly self-absorbed and focused on their own needs and desires. However, recognizing that these behaviors could indicate narcissistic personality disorder can help in identifying potential solutions. Because if you can catch this early, you may be able to change it. Signs that may indicate a child is a narcissist or at risk of developing narcissistic personality disorder may include self-centeredness, a lack of empathy, difficulty in making and keeping friends, reluctance to take responsibility, poor academic performance. Children might first show signs of oppositional defiant disorder as early as 2 years old, though more often between 6 and 8. The National Institute of Health defines oppositional defiant disorder, ODD, as a type of childhood disruptive behavioral disorder that primarily involves problems with the self-control of emotions and behaviors. The main feature of ODD, according to the DSM-5, this is the diagnostic book that all mental health professionals use, the main feature is a persistent pattern of angry or irritable mood, argumentative or defiant behavior, or vindictiveness toward others. In Psychology Today, there was an article entitled, "Can Narcissism be Identified in Children?" This was posted September 28, 2023 by Fern Schumer Chapman. She listed the following behaviors a child with narcissistic traits may display, and I'll read them to you. They'll also be up on the PowerPoint. Monopolizes conversations, withdraws from those who do not give attention or admiration, routinely interrupts and interrogates. Needs to be the center of attention, viewing excessive attention as their right. These children often have unrealistic expectations of others. Belittles others, considering them better than other children, often displays magnified feelings of envy, often fighting or stealing toys from other children to get what they want. Dismisses others' feelings and opinions, often acts bored or irritated when others speak. Excludes peers from a game or a group based on superficial characteristics such as social or financial status or a different or lesser skill level. Lacks the ability or inclination to empathize with others. Contradicts and corrects others, insists on being right, avoids accountability for their behavior. Throws temper tantrums when criticized or when they don't get their way. They're quick to flare up and overreact. Threatens verbally and or physically, can be abusive. Expects attention, agreement, and or caretaking without reciprocity. Exaggerates their successes and achievements, diminishing the achievements of those around them. Pushes back against authority figures, resents being told what to do. Avoids eye contact, also known as gaze aversion, refusing to look into the eyes of someone speaking to them. Protects the narcissistic child from the possibility of feeling corrected or rejected, which their low self-esteem cannot tolerate. Displays little gratitude to parents or others, often blames parents or adults for their own wrongdoings. Becomes outraged when others don't meet their needs, expecting others to take responsibility for their emotional well-being. Engages in pathological play, for example, patterns of vengeance, refusing to accommodate and or acknowledge others' needs, repetitive and or intense destructiveness. Lacks a moral compass, the ability to identify right from wrong, and doesn't exhibit remorse about lying, cheating, or stealing. Develops advanced language and vocabulary skills that mask their shortcomings. Struggles with stress, often regressing to a behavioral stage younger than their developmental level when facing a situation they cannot manipulate because they lack the ability to self-soothe. Suffers deeply with separation anxiety. If your child's behavior concerns you, it's best to do early intervention. It is best to teach all children empathy from an early age. People with narcissistic personality disorder have no ability to empathize with others, no ability. Children who are exhibiting narcissistic behavior can be taught empathy. Understanding others clearly is a primary objective of empathy. This skill enables children to approach their relationships with kindness and compassion, and to become more mindful of their words and actions. Now, up on the PowerPoint, I have this website, the mentalhealthcenterkids.com. They offer 25 empathy activities that you can do with your children. So that's up there. You can get that information. Adolescents 10 years or older might display conduct disorders. The Cleveland Clinic describes conduct disorder as a mental health condition that's characterized by a consistent pattern of aggressive behaviors and actions that harm the well-being of others. Adolescents with conduct disorder also violate rules and societal norms. Certain symptoms related to MPD, such as The narcissistic traits of entitlement and self-absorption are typical for teenagers who are still establishing their sense of self. However, a teenager with narcissistic personality disorder will display narcissistic behaviors that disrupt their personal relationships and daily life. And the following, again, it'll be up on the PowerPoint, these symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder in teens may include lack of empathy, feelings of superiority, exaggerated accomplishments, manipulative behavior without remorse, intense jealousy, extreme negative reactions to criticism, constant need for positive affirmation. They ignore personal boundaries. So a personality disorder is a mental health condition that involves long-lasting, disruptive patterns of thinking, behavior, mood, and relating to others. Most personality disorders begin in the teen years. That's when personality disorder further and develops and matures. As a result, almost all people diagnosed with personality disorder are above the age of 18. Once they reach 18, these conditions may fall under the category of cluster B personality disorders. That includes, again, conditions such as antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and borderline personality disorder. But experts believe that narcissistic personality disorder is often set by the age of 25. Early intervention, again, is the key. And there's going to be another website up here, connectionsacademy.com. They offer 5 strategies for teaching empathy to teens and 7 tips to encourage the development of it. Narcissists teach victims to distrust their instincts and instead trust everything they are told. Learning to trust their instincts, use their best judgment, and trust themselves are unparalleled lessons for children that will not only impact how they view themselves, but also has the potential to keep them safe. When you encourage kids' natural gut feelings, it's like an inner guide helping them figure out the world. They can end up making really accurate guesses and good choices, getting what's going on beyond what they see. VinceGauman.com, it's up on the thing, offers 15 ways to support children in playing with their intuition. This is so important. So, the question everyone asks me, and one that is likely on all of your minds, is, can a narcissist change? When you're dealing with someone who may have narcissistic behaviors or other cluster B personality disorders, it can be really impossible or very challenging. Narcissists, by nature of their disorder, are entirely unwilling to acknowledge their issues and seek help. They never take responsibility for their actions, and they never make a sincere effort to change without deflecting blame onto others. Refusing to recognize their behavior and primed to dismiss the concerns of anyone around them, it is impossible for change to occur. Some mental health professionals will tell you it is possible to restore the true self of a narcissist. In my experience, research, and studies, I don't happen to agree. So what should you do? What should you do if your alienated child becomes a young adult with narcissistic personality disorder? Will the child you love and raise ever come back to you? With those children and adult children who do not develop a personality disorder, there is always hope for reunification. Enlist the guidance of parental alienation specialists on how to navigate this difficult process and never give up. It may take many years for this to happen, but there's always a possibility that it will. Adult children who develop cluster B disorders, such as narcissistic personality disorder, sadly, are changed forever. Narcissists abandon their inner sense of self, which is the self-loathing child or the true self. Their outer self is merely a projection of what they want others to see. They are unable to love. They are unable to empathize. And they are unable to have true relationships with anyone, including their parents and other family members. I discuss various options for dealing with narcissists in every type of relationship in my book, Close Encounters of the Worst Kind, 2nd edition, The Narcissistic Abuse Survivor's Guide to Healing and Recovery. After weeks of extensive research into this topic, one that, as far as I can tell, has yet to be written or spoken about, I have given you my best interpretation and clearest understanding of the relationship and differences between alienation and narcissistic personality disorder, and how one might change from one to the other. Some may agree with me, some may disagree, but I welcome everyone to do their own research and weigh in on this topic. This is a topic where there's no clear-cut information on. You really have to read a lot and put together the facts. So I hope I answered that question that I posed, and thank you so much for listening today. Bye-bye.
On our next Families Divided TV, Bill Eddy discusses, do parents with alienating behaviors know what they're doing?